Homebois to actually take the Yuzong first to ensure that if Todak wants to go for a double fighter composition, it's a little bit more difficult. They probably have to play Phoveus. Arguably, Momo has to play Belleric if he really has to.
Yeah, that is going to be the question. Momo has not shown a notable dominance on most fighters. Belleric would be an obvious choice, but we have to remember Momo has played Paquito side lane in the past, so they could give this to him and allow Formaze to flex into something else.
Maybe Esme, but then again, he is up against Yuzong. He could go for more lane dominating. It really depends on the style here, because right now the synergies between the members of Todak's draft so far, they've got a lot of pick potential, potentially a lot of damage, but it really depends on the role. So Irithel gets locked in as well as the Uranus from Todak. They are playing absolutely standard.
Now this is the signature Todak lineup. The mid lane marksman, double fighter side lane, Lunox jungle, very balanced in terms of damage. Homebois recognizing that Todak are going to have a little less pressure in the gold lane with a fighter, will go for a very hard-hitting early game marksman to potentially poke Momo out of lane.
Nicely done, and I think Homebois, this is a much more even draft against Todak, and this is the most normal draft we're seeing out of Todak, to be fair.
Yeah, but that's normal by Todak standards. The double fighter side lane marksman mid is still very strange overall.
That is true. That is true. We'll see. We'll see what it's going to be at the end of the day. Who's going to come up here on top? As both compositions have very similar ideas. Double fighter side lanes coming out for the side of Todak once again with Chiku guys on Irithel. Let's see what he can do against the Homebois with strong CC, a lane bully on that Bruno, and a Yuzong who's just ready to dive.
Homebois, their lineup has a lot of crowd control, so I'm a little bit worried whether or not Todak will be able to respond to it, but we will only find out once we enter into the land of Dawn, and the brawl instantly starts.
Yeah, Zakas is about to die here. He has to forces out the flicker out of him. Todak taking a very good level 1 trade, and Chiku guys very smartly taking the Queen's call just to ensure the slow.
Right. Honestly, Zakas needs to be a lot more careful. Grok as a hero is not as tanky as he once used to be. And with the armor shred from Chiku guys, they're going to be dishing out a lot of poke damage, which means that instantly Todak will gain that mid lane control, allowing Rival to gain that Little Wanderer for free. Todak, they're obviously very aware as well of the amount of CC potential from the Homeboys, so they have 2 Purifies.
Yep. Right now, Sapad getting absolutely ganked here. Chiku ensuring the death by slowing him down, allowing Formaze to run him down with the Ionic Edge. My god, that is a very early gank.
You would not expect that, especially from a marksman mid lane. So Homeboys thought that they could play more aggro because Chiku should be staying in mid and farming up his items. But no, that's not how Todak works. Plus, again, the armor shred contributing a lot to taking down these tankier heroes.
Yep. Now 3 versus 2 so far. Yubski forced the flicker on out of there. Chibi, he wants to push back. Chiku finds the knockback with a heavy spin. Nicely played by the Homeboys as they take a kill back.
That was very patient from GB, waiting in the bush until we could see Todak put themselves out of position. Once he saw the flicker from Yumski, he knows there is no way this Cho can protect the Irithel. And that's going to be a revenge kill onto Chiku, guys, hopefully slowing down his farm.
Oh, Momo tried to cheese out on him. That's so very smart. He knew he was going to hit level 4 off of that wave. He wanted to make sure he was in position for a kill angle. Almost gets it, but smartly on it makes it out. It's going to be Homeboys who secure the first turtle of the game. They even find Yumski in the process, Sapat not even having to use his Petrify to ensure it.
Yeah, this is going to be the strength of Homeboys' draft in this game. They have a lot of team fight potential. Even with 2 Purifies on the side of Todak, there's going to be a lot more damage consistently coming out of Homeboys, especially towards the early to mid game with this Yuzon, with this Akai, with the Grok. So Todak needs to be a little more wary about that. They need more map awareness before jumping in.
Yep, Homo face checks the brush, ends up dying, still almost survives, but the auto attack from Anip was just enough to clip him, dealing just enough damage. Well played for the side of Homebois here as they're looking to push back against Todak's unorthodox draft in game number 1.
Now, very unfortunate for Momo there. That football was basically a free kick and it landed perfectly on the mark, following Momo all the way despite having used the flicker. And this is going to be excellent for the Homebois. That's going to give a lot of gold shield over to this Bruno. Momo wants to stop this.
Yep, but he really can't. All he can do is just watch helplessly as Anip is getting free kick after free kick onto the tower, farming the entire shield, putting Chibi and as well as Anip further and further ahead. Topside is basically, can't really do much. It's 4 maze on Uranus. You're not really going to get any work done, so let's make sure we can control mid and continue to punish the bottom side of the map.
Yep, the Homeboys playing very smart right now. You can see Todak has to put a lot of pressure onto this bottom side. They cannot allow Anip to get any more farm, but because of that, it is slowing down the scaling potential of the rest of Todak's heroes. You can see they are right now actually giving Chiku guys more farm in the jungle. Rival taking a bit of a backseat since he's already hit his level 6. They want to allow this Irritel to start contributing again.
Speaking of contribution, Todak are just cutting off this Bruno. They are looking to gain some gold back for Momo to put him ahead of the curve or even it out a little bit. Zakas with a wild charge finds 2 onto Chiku guys and Yumski. They're not going to make any full commitments just yet, but Yumski is going to lock him in. Bang! Actually stealing the ult and taking out Chiku guys. Anip even flickering forward to ensure that he gets the gold. And now Homebois on the top side of the map. They push out the mid lane and immediately start stealing away the purple buff.
Yeah, this is beautifully played from the Homeboys right now. Again, they are a very momentum-based team, so if they gain an early game lead, it looks pretty good.
Yep. Anip now getting kicked. Oh, he slide tackles away to try and make it off, but he manages to get a 1-for-1 at the very end, and Bang should be able to secure the kill. Momo forced the flicker on out of there. Zakas with the power of nature is going to chase him to the ends of the earth. Can they secure this? Yes, they can, as Bang catches up and takes the kill.
Beautiful placement of the Guardian's Bulwark right there, stopping him right at the edge. The Guardian's barrier. It looks like he could pass it by, but turns out Momo just a little bit too fat to get across that corner. And now Homeboy is continuing to play around their early game pressure, despite the fact that Todak, that was actually a good idea to continue pressuring the gold lane since they know Homeboys will want to extend their lead elsewhere. They went a little bit too aggressive, and because of that, gave up too many kills in return.
And now the siege continues, right? Bruno, he's already broken bottom tier 1. Top side is going to clear his wave. Once bottom side is cleared too, they can make things happen across the map. GB and Bang denying the rotations from 4 maze as well as Yumski. They are not safe to walk through the river.
And this is a big problem for Todak right now. Their goal is just try and delay the game to allow Rival and Chiku guys to get more farm. But Homeboys are not going to give that space to them. They have a lot of map control. They have a lot of pressure. This is where Homeboys needs to play active to force Todak into an uncomfortable position.
Yep, and now top side, we're seeing 4 members of Conceal coming out, a gank being set up. Sabat, if he sees this, he needs to go into Black Dragon form right now, but it's too late. He gets kicked in the nick of time before he's able to pop right off on the opposite side of the map. Homeboys waste no time stealing away the jungle and also securing a tier 2.
That is actually very worth it for the Homeboys. Yes, Todak gets the kill, but they had to send 4 members up to the top lane. They still haven't gotten the tier 1 as well because they're waiting for the minion wave. And while all that is happening, a tier 2 falls to the Homeboys. They get the turtle, and they maintain their net worth lead, continuing to apply pressure across the map.
Yep, we do see Yumski getting a kick on towards Zakas' side. Really doesn't matter as Chiku guys is too low to join the fight. Zakas trying to finish him off, but here comes the Dragon himself. Black Dragon form from Sabat, chasing down his targets. Brilliant coming out of Rival just in the nick of time. Any commitment? Yes, there is. Sabat gets right on top of him, petrified to secure the kill, but they find a return onto Zakas in... Oh wait, Chiku, he ends up dying. He ends up dying regardless on the opposite side from GB.
Oh, that's unfortunate there. Homeboys only lose their roamer and they get the enemy jungle and mid lane / gold lane. So Todak are actually losing out on a lot of these fights because of their because of the fact that they are behind in terms of gold, they're not able to take these big 1v1s, even more so the big 4v4s, which means that Homebois have free reign over the map right now. And Todak not even having enough safe space to split push because of the presence of this Yuzong.
I think, what else could they do here? With the presence of Yuzong around, I think that Todak is in a position where they have to make some sacrifices, right? Who is their main target? Are they looking to take out Bang? Are they looking to take out Bruno? Because no matter what, Bang is going to be a big threat. He keeps stealing the way of the dragon. He is looking for these counter ults time after time. It's getting a little frustrating for Todak.
Yeah, definitely. But I feel like Todak don't really need to worry too much about allowing Bang to steal the ult, because they're already aware that the Way of the Dragon is going to be the most obvious ability for Bang to steal. Don't put their mind into thinking about that and find different angles.
Yep. And now Yumski trying to actually save Momo from this predicament. He might be stuck himself. Should pose over the wall to make sure that he lives. However, on the bottom side of the map, we are seeing that both Chiku guys and as well as Formaze, actually Formaze creating some space to get some information on where Chibi and Sobat is. He doesn't steal away the purple buff, but it does net them a tier 2 now that Chiku can walk up safely to it.
The most important players on the side of Todak in the next couple minutes is going to be Formaze as well as Chiku guys. They need farm on Iritel. They need the Uranus, the split push.
Oh, the steal from Rival just in time. Chibi was not able to make it happen. Rival using the Chaos Assault to try to get on out of there with the Darkening, but Bang with the Way of the Dragon going to secure the kill on the opposite side. Momo finds a kill onto Zach is so far, but that's going to be Chiku dying over on him. He's too strong. Momo tries to secure this kill, but Formaze is able to steal it away. A little sad here as Momo ends up dying regardless, and Formaze in the middle of 3. Can he buy enough time? No, he cannot. It's going to be a 4-for-2 trade.
I don't feel like Formaze needed to jump into that group in the end there. He could have just walked away, and that would not have actually been a bad trade for Todak since they are behind. They actually narrowed the net worth gap by quite a bit just by trading off the cores on the side of the Homebois. But I'm honestly surprised at how many mistakes Todak are making right now. It feels like Chiku is a little bit too aggressive, getting picked off way too many times for an Iritel that is going to be the primary carry for his team. And because of that, the rest of Todak aren't quick enough to be able to follow up.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know how Todak is supposed to get in onto the Homebois. I think they just have to stall this game out for as long as possible, right? They need to get to the 42k mark. They need at least 3 items, 4 items arguably for both Rival and as well as Chiku before you start seeing some real impact on the damage.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do, honestly. Just delay the game. Don't look for these fights because they are not necessary. The Homebois will not be able to get push, will not be able to get objectives as long as Todak doesn't give away free kills. And if they can distract them on one side of the map, they can allow Formaze to split push and pressure Homebois' base.
Now they continue to move around the map. They're trying to clear these waves as soon as possible. Formaze as well as Chiku guys are working very closely together. But Momo trying to go for this flank. He's getting hit by literally everything. Ends up dying regardless. And Formaze slowing them down. Yumski gets the kick on towards Bang. Decides to try and take out that ultimate, but he ends up dying regardless of the situation. They're throwing bodies at the Homebois.
Now I gotta be honest here. This is not the first time we have seen the Todak throwing bodies in a game where they are losing. And in the past, it has actually worked for them. And while it did look like Todak didn't manage to get a trade up in that last fight, you can see that Formaze was able to get the push up bottom side. They lost 2 members, yes, but Homebois are still not able to get a push. They're still not able to get multiple structures with a 1-team fight. Although I do feel like Todak can afford to give them a little less.
Yep, now, Formaze smartly going for a double proxy here to try and slow down this game even more. A very good idea for the side of Todak, but Yumski still trying to make the play here. Rival with the Chaos Assault gets pushed away from the initial engagement with the heavy spin coming in from Chibi, but Momo tries his best. Chiku guys is able to take out Bang just in time as Sopan now rejoins the fight, looking for the engagement. It doesn't matter with the Petrify as the Purify is able to cleanse it away on him. It's still getting some good damage, but Formaze is really tanky. And there are 4 low members. He can chase them one by one.
Formation absolutely really continue threatening Homebois right now. And as long... Oh, yep, he gets that kill on Subbat. He might die to a nip though. The Bruno, a lot of damage in build. Formaze, he already knows he's going down, so he's just going to stand there and accept his fate. But Todak are actually starting to trade up here. Homebois are taking these fights a little bit longer than necessary, and although they are winning in terms of kills, I feel like they may be giving away a little bit too much advantage.
We'll see about it. Rival can pull off another steal here that buys them an extra 3 minutes. This could be it. This could mean everything. Yumski, he's looking for an opportunity to kick GB away, but instead the heavy spin comes on through, and now GB in the midst of it. Who gets it? Who gets it? Oh, it goes down to the Homebois, and now they're going to be running them down. Bang, trying to get on out of there. A double kill coming out from Anip. His 11-2-2 score line proves to be too much for Todak.
Nip is playing absolutely out of his mind right now, and giving him a hero like the Bruno is perfect against this lineup from Todak. It's just such a big problem. None of them can survive this Bruno's damage. And Chiku guys playing really weirdly here, just jumping in, trying to go for kills that he really is not going to be able to get, and feeding his life away.
Yeah, I do think that Chiku is trying a little too hard to debuff everybody so that they can get in on that fight. Their main damage dealers right now is going to be both Rival and, surprisingly enough, Formaze for the time being. But let's see how this high ground defense goes as the inhibitors are now under threat. They're trying to hold the line here as Chiku is even using the explosive arrows, but it's too late. They lose one inhibitor. They don't have enough damage to cut through the Lord fast enough. Second inhibitor coming through, but Zakas fights a wild charge onto one. Formaze is now in trouble. Anip actually getting kicked back into the middle of that fight. Brilliance as well being committed. The heavy spin to try and disengage him, but yes, he manages to survive. It's too late. He's been taken down. A 2-for-1 trade, and now Todak bounce back from the damage. GB, is he able to pick off Yumski? No, Suppa ends up dying to Rival regardless, and GB is now all by himself. His team being wiped out as Chiku are getting free hit after free hit. Bang is trying his best. Can he land this last one? It's too late. Chiku turns it around once again.
Wow! Todak once again making miracles happen, wiping out the entire team lineup of the Homebois. That was a huge mistake. Homebois did not need to extend that fight as long as it did. Todak, their win condition in a majority of these battles is just picking off a nip. Whether or not a nip lives or dies is equal to whether Todak wins the fight or not. So major props to Yumski for somehow being able to get the kick onto the enemy Bruno, because otherwise Homebois would have ended the game right there.
What an incredible fight that was, truly. Now, Todak are in prime position, like you mentioned, to actually bounce back into this game. They've gotten that past that 42k mark. They hit the item power spike just in time to deal with the Homebois, and if we're looking at the items so far, 4 items coming out from Chiku, guys. 4 items coming out from the side of Rival as well.
Yeah, we can see that Anip, he already completed his build earlier. Obviously, the Bruno very farmed right now, but Chiku guys not too far behind. There's a lot of defensive build on the side of the Homebois, and because of that, you can tell that their damage is lacking if they don't have Anip around to play with. So there's going to be a lot of pressure onto Yumski to be able to continuously find the pickoff on the Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just Yumski. Even Momo committed pretty hard to that fight, utilizing his flicker. So I think they're just timing it together, right? They're just timing it together to get in front of his face, to dish out as much damage as they possibly can. If Rival can jump in with the Brilliance as well, then they have some commitment.
And this is a situation where the Homebois may have to invest a little bit. They have to group together because they need to keep Anip alive. And as long as the Homebois group together, Todak can constantly pressure the other lanes.
Yep, Saban already using the Black Dragon form. He won't have it for this upcoming fight. Momo looking for some angles here, but Formaze continuing to be annoying on the purple buff side. They are about to lose this. Yumski's in trouble, but Momo finds good kicks onto punches onto Anip. GB is a little too slow to save him, and also Saban getting kicked by the way of the dragon. Ironic in and of itself. Bangs on the run, forced the flicker on out of there, and now Todak pushing back against the Homebois' inhibitor turrets.
Surgically done again by Todak. Homeboys were putting so much attention into making sure that Yumski wouldn't be able to engage onto a nip, that they're basically ignoring Formaze and Momo, allowing them to find the Bruno in the backline, and now Todak are pushing into their base.
Yep, Momo continuing to put damage onto Chibi. It's not worth his time, but at the very least, keep him away from the rest of the team. As Yumski, he's got immortality, but he's on 1 HP. He ends up dying. Zakas with the wild charge finds 2. Is this the turnaround that we're looking for? Momo pushes them back once again. Chiku is locked against a heavy spin. Bang! Should be able to find it, but the power of nature steals the kill once more.
Todak unfortunately overstayed their welcome a little bit there, so that is going to be a sigh of relief for Homeboys, as they're able to defend long enough for Anip to respawn and pick up those kills. Getting that heavy spin onto the Iritel as well, not an easy thing to do considering Chiku guys' mobility, but Chibi managed to do it, and that basically made sure that they would not end up losing right there and then.
Yep, they clear out these waves, and Homeboys, what used to be a devastating lead, they have been outscaled at this point of time. Bang can't deal with Rival. The Brilliance actually coming out early, the Wild Charge, and as well as the heavy spin. They're chasing for it. Suppan is trying to cover the backline as Momo is able to get some good damage. The knock-up on him. He's trying to get on out of there again. The Brilliance comes out as Bang steals it, but Yumski finds it. No, he doesn't complete the kick. Anip is still alive. GB may have given his life to ensure that Anip lives. It's a 2-for-1 trade, but the chase is still going on. Jiku guys is still going after him, and Momo is not letting up. The conceal comes on through. This should be a full disengage.
Yumski is doing such a good job. Yes, he doesn't get the kick in the right direction, but the longer he keeps a nip crowd controlled, the more control Todak has over the fight. And they were able to trade 1 for 2. They're looking for more.
Yep, Brilliance already coming out once again. Zakas with a wild charge onto 2. Bang looking for an opportunity, but Anip forced to flicker away. Bang has to get on out of there with the Brilliance off his own, but here comes that mid-wave. They're looking to end this. Anip is so low. They're rushing it down. Chiku guys will not stop. It's a 2-0 for Todak.
The turnaround once again. Todak showing us that if you are able to selectively throw bodies to delay the game, beating is not necessarily throwing your chances of victory away, as the defending champions will continue moving on in the upper brackets of the playoffs.
What incredible gameplay coming out from the side of Todak. World-class players here up on stage. Homeboys, they've got some home.